Last school year was tough for many students as they navigated remote learning.
Kentucky students still had to go through standardized testing, though, and WDRB's Christy Batista and education reporter Kevin Wheatley dug through the results out today and what they mean for local schools. Guys?
Thanks, guys. Kevin, you and I have been looking through these numbers really for the past 24 hours, and some districts are actually doing better than the state average, but you were mainly focusing on JCPS today, so tell us how they did.
Not great, Christy. Test scores at JCPS lagged state test scores across the board. Now, keep in mind, testing participation rates for elementary students was the district's highest at around 70%. Normally, it's in the mid-90s. In reading, 44% of JCPS students tested at the lowest level. 2/3 of low-income students, 63% of special needs students, 61% of black students, and just 31% of white elementary students tested low in reading. Now that trend continues in math, where nearly half of all JCPS elementary students tested at the lowest level. That number jumps to 59% of low-income students, 62% of students with learning disabilities, 2/3 of black students, and that drops to 34% of white elementary students at JCPS. Now, Polio questioned the reliability of these results because of the low participation rates and said the district will use other testing to identify students who need help.
And school districts agree these results don't give an accurate depiction of how the students are actually doing.
There just wasn't a lot of meat and potatoes to them as there has been in years past.
Largely because of COVID-19. The data shows fewer students participated in these tests, roughly 89% of elementary students, about 83% of middle schoolers, and about 75% of high school students. That's because Kentucky did not have a test at home option, and many of the districts were on hybrid models.
These are different tests on different standards, and they were administered under unusual circumstances to fewer students.
The state graded students with 5 performance levels. Despite the challenges these students were facing, many of them still tested in the highest level. 39.5% of elementary students tested in the highest performance level for reading, and the second performance level in math with 38%. 44% of middle school students tested in the highest performance level in reading, and the second level in math with 41.5%. High schoolers also tested in the highest level in reading with nearly 38%, but nearly 36% tested in the lowest level in math. State leaders don't want people to compare these numbers to past years, but many educators at the district level say it's more about the day-to-day work in the classroom and less about these assessments.
The state assessment has always been one moment in time. The daily work is a scope of the entire school year, and that's what we use to indicate how well students are succeeding in and out of the classroom.
The districts will still take the results for improvement, but they will also take the disruptions into consideration. Now, of course, this is important to note that this is just a glimpse of these numbers. Kevin, you dig into the rest of the results in your story online, and you can all find that right now on WDRB.com.
All right, Christine, Kevin, thank you so much.